the City of Troy, I'm Deputy Director of Public Information, Frank Sinato. This is Troy Talk Today. Today, we'll take you behind the scenes of the city's lead service line replacement program, which broke ground this summer thanks in part to ARPA funding. We'll also speak with the Superintendent of Public Utilities about our region-leading lead service line replacement program and what you can do to improve drinking water in your neighborhood. Let's talk. So today's episode is about the lead service line replacement project. How did we first come to know that there were problems with the lead in our drinking water?
Lead has been used was used forever, a long time as a service line material all over the U.S. For varying time frames. And lead has become an issue, so the EPA wants to get all the lead out. They're trying to develop programs where the lead service lines are removed, or programs where communities have guidelines or rules and regulations where lead service lines are forced to be removed. So that's where they're looking at it. It's not just a Troy issue, it's a national issue. The state came through and gave us $517,000 in grant.
And we've taken the American Rescue Plan Act funding and taken that $500,000 grant and turned it into a $3 million program that's getting started this year. They're already removing lines. Can you tell us what that $3 million does? How does this process work?
So we want to gain the inventory, better inventory, and we want to move forward with a replacement program that we can hit everywhere within the next 10 years or so. We're working with the residents, letting them know that we're coming through. We're actually going through with a big vacuum machine to vacuum out where the curb box is so we can get a better inventory of the pipe material on both sides. After we get that inventory, then we work with the contractor and we develop a replacement plan. With the help of some organizations, with the help of some residents, we are moving forward on gaining inventory. We have about a third of the services inventoried, and then we can easier develop a schedule of how long it's going to take to go through there. And then we work with the resident, we let them know we're coming. We give them 24 to 72 hours notice before we have to turn the water off for a few hours while we do the work. And what it is they dig a hole at the water main and they dig a hole at the curb stop. The pipes are exposed at both ends. They put a cable through it and they pull the new copper pipe through where the old pipe was. And same thing for the house. Then you get in the basement, you pull a copper pipe through where the lead service is currently, and then you make your connections at the 3 spots, backfill, and you move to the next one.
So this process only takes a few hours?
Yes. Yeah, one service takes a few hours.
Wow. So I can wake up one day with the lead service line, and by the end of the day, I have a brand new copper line.
By lunch.
Wow. I know that we've inventoried about a third of our service lines, and it isn't much, but it is ahead of where just about everyone else is in the region. What are we doing to help other folks get to where we are?
I've been working with any other water systems that may have issues or concerns, not have the inventory, not have the tools. We have the website developed, we have the app developed, we have our GIS system developed. We've been working with them on what's worked, what hasn't worked. And letting them know what mailers we sent out, what bulletins we sent out, what postcards we sent out, what our response was. So we're opening all those materials to other communities to use. Same way as it was open to us from a couple other communities.
So what are the next steps? If I go onto the website, I find out that I have lead in my drinking water, what do I do?
So if you go onto the website, it'll give us the inventory of if you have lead or not. From there, we get the inventory. If you would like a sample, as part of that inventory, you can put under the comments, we'd like to have the water sampled. Our lab will contact you. They'll go through the process of sampling, and they'll drop off a bottle. You fill it up accordingly. We go pick it up, and we have it, and we have the sample run, and we get results. Those results are then mailed to the property owner.
So there are many things I can do proactively while I'm waiting for a lead service line replacement. If I'm concerned about lead in my drinking water, to limit my exposure.
Yes.
Would you be able to speak to some of those things that I can do?
If any, I would say get a plumber. Call a plumber if you're not handy enough. Change out some of your older faucets, specifically if they're 20 years or older, and it's one that you drink from. Kitchen sinks, bathroom sinks, that sort of thing.
Residents have asked us about filtration. What do you say to folks who are in the market for a filter?
Filters are good if used appropriately. There's many different types of filters out there. If you're going to go out and get one, make sure it has on there for lead. Follow the manufacturer's recommendations, because if you don't change the filter out enough, it can actually cause a media for bacterial growth and can harm you even more. So make sure you know when to change that filter out. And even for lead, if you don't change it out in enough time, now you have a filter in there that's contaminated with lead. It could actually increase your chance of getting more lead exposure because it's leaching lead through.
What are the next steps for someone watching this who maybe hasn't tested their line, hasn't thought about this? What are you asking folks to do?
So there's two things when it comes to testing their line. For me, I need the inventory. I need to know if you have lead or not. It can be as simple as that, and you're happy and you're done. You don't have to have sampling done. You don't have to take it any further except just take the 2 minutes to go down in your basement, look at your water meter, and take a picture of the pipe underneath it. Send it to us off that website, troyny.gov/lead, and then we have that. We're good. That's all I need. Right now, that's what I need. If the resident's more concerned about it, then they can contact us through the app in the comments or by calling the lab, and we can go out and either do the inventory for them, and we can also work with them if they want samples taken to see what their water quality might be for lead inside their house.
Well, Superintendent, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We've been speaking with DPU Superintendent Chris Wieland about the City of Troy's lead service line replacement program. Remember, we need you to log onto the site shown on screen and make sure DPU knows the status of your water service line. A link will also be provided in the description notes of this episode. Thanks for tuning in to Troy Talk Today. Talk to you soon.